All right, so I talk to a lot of girls in the DMs about wanting to build their dream life, and I get a lot. I don't have enough time to start my online fitness coaching business, and I get that. I felt that way when I was starting out too, but the truth is, the only reason why I don't feel like you have enough time is just because you aren't clear on what you want. Let me explain. We all have the same 24 hours in the day, so that begs the question why there's some people who are more successful and came from absolutely nothing, and then some people who aren't. And the truth is, the reason why you feel like you don't have enough time is because you don't have clarity on exactly what you want. The moment you become so freaking clear on exactly what the outcome and the goal is, the moment you actually have direction to take steps forward. Now, when you don't have that clarity and direction, it feels like everything is optional and there's no real urgency behind actually taking action with your goals. So having clarity will ultimately allow you to say no to things that aren't serving your goals easier, and it will create a new standard of self. And when you are very clear on the vision and the outcome of what you want in life, like if you truly think about it, like the apartment you want, where you want to live, all of these things, they seem out of touch because right now you're living a 9 to 5, you're crammed with time, you're trying to get into the gym, you're trying to balance it all, even friends and family and all of that stuff, that it seems like that dream life is so out of reach. But if you can hold that vision as something that you can actually achieve, and when you actually believe that, and usually the only way to believe it is if you know it's your God-given purpose, and when it's fueled by that, you know that there is going to be a way to make it happen when God gave you that vision. So understand, one, you need to have faith in that vision, and it can't just be a monetary goal of wanting to make a lot of money, but to actually serve God's kingdom. Now, once you have that, you realize that clarity isn't just motivation, it's actually direction into where you're going and what you're trying to accomplish. Now, let me explain it this way. There was a time when I was working a 9 to 5, full-time hours. I was going to the gym every single day for about an hour and a half a day. I was meal prepping. I was spending time with my family. I just had 2 nieces born into the family, so I was spending time with them a lot. And I also had friends and a social life as well. And it felt like I didn't have time because I had all of this going on, just life. And I know how it feels to work a 9 to 5. You feel exhausted at the end of the day. So my sister sat me down on the couch, and I was about 20 years old at this time. And she said, "Sawyer, what do you want to do with your life?" And I said, "Well, I've tried all these failed businesses, drop shipping, all this stuff. And I know I want to be an entrepreneur, but right now I'm just working my 9 to 5 because I don't know what to do." And she said, "Well, what do you really, really want to do?" And I'm like, "Well, I go to the gym every day. Like, I'd love to be a fitness influencer." And she says, "Well, Sawyer, I'm telling you this right now. Why don't you actually just try? Because mom and dad are going to send you to school to become a nurse if you don't actually just try." And that hit me to my core because I was like, there is no way that I'm going to school through the educational system, because that is not what I want to do. I want to work for myself. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want a life of freedom. Something in me every day when I walk into this big box store and I work retail and I'm tagging items and I'm checking people out is telling me I'm not meant to spend the rest of my life like a rat in the cage in the 4 corners of these walls. The world is so big. I'm not meant to stay in this place. I'm just simply not. And no career that was through the education system would allow me to live a life outside of that box. So I was like, the only way out is being an entrepreneur. And that's why I tried all of these other businesses. And as you can see, I kind of had this vision, as I talked about earlier in the call or in this video, about having a vision that pulls you. And this vision really ignited when she said, "Why don't you really just try? Because otherwise mom and dad are sending you to school." And so in that moment, the next day I went out, I bought a camera, and I'm like, I got to do this, because the repercussions of not doing this and that pain of going to school and going down a route that isn't meant for me is more painful than all the excuses I'm making right now, and making time to do this is worth the cost. So understand that every outcome has a cost, and if you want to build your online fitness coaching business, something has to move, whether it's weekends, sleeping in, hanging out with friends, something has to move. And I want to show you exactly how I made this move, and it doesn't mean you have to do the same thing, but I just want to show you the reality of having clarity on what I was achieving. I knew I was going to become a fitness influencer, which now I ended up becoming a fitness coach because fitness influencers don't make money. But I knew I wanted to become a fitness influencer, be an entrepreneur, because I just did not want to work the regular life. And so when I decided that and I was clear on what I wanted, I made the time. So listen to this. I worked a 9 to 5 every single day. Next day, I went out and bought my camera. I'm like, okay, I'm going to become a fitness influencer. I go to the gym after work. I work out for an hour. Once I'm done my workout, I pull out my camera to start recording. And the manager comes up and says, hey, you're not allowed to film here. And I'm like, oh, like, can I film in this room or this room? She's like, no. And I was kind of bummed out. I was actually quite annoyed. So I went to my car and I'm like, what do I do? I call up every gym in my city. Hey, just wondering if I'm allowed to film at your gym. This is in 2021, so it wasn't like as like known, or I guess I come from a small town. They said no. Called up another gym. No. Called up another gym. No. And at this point, I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? Because there's no way I'm doing that. I call up a gym an hour away from my hometown. This is like a gym that I saw was very aesthetic on Instagram. I just pulled up my phone. I was like, gyms in Toronto, which is an hour away from my hometown. Of course, beautiful gyms, right? I call up. I'm like, hey, are you filming your gym? They're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. We have, influencers filming here all the time. I'm like, okay, sweet. And then I'm like, wait a second. What, am I going to go there on the weekends? Yeah, okay, I could go on Saturday. And then I realized that amount of work is not going to get me to my goals. So every single day after working my 9 to 5, spending time with my newborn nieces who were living in my home, my family home at the time, our family was chaos, our family, like, beautiful family. I love my family, but there was so much going on. I had responsibilities that I had to fulfill, personal life. I would work my 9 to 5 full time. I'd go work out at the gym for an hour because I wasn't going to lose out on my gains. And then from there, I would drive an hour and a half from my hometown to Toronto with my little camera, and I'd pack 5 or 6 outfits for like gym clothes. I'd walk into that gym. I was pooping my pants because I was afraid to film in the gym. But at this point, it's like 9 p.m. at night. Gym is packed, by the way, because it's Toronto. Everyone goes at 9 p.m. for whatever reason. And I start filming. I start figuring it out. I go and I change my outfit and I come back. And then I get all this footage. I did that for probably 3 months. I just did that because my vision was so clear. It was either I go to school, forced by my parents, and I do something I hate. And for you, it might be stuck in your 9 to 5, going to school, staying in that dead-end job you've already been in for 5 years when you know you hate it and you have a passion for fitness. Or it was the vision that even though it felt far away, even though it felt impossible, it was the vision of, oh, hey, I'm going to become a fitness influencer because the other choice is just not reasonable for me. So what you prioritize in your calendar and your life reveals what you believe is possible. I believed becoming an influencer was possible because I just really didn't want the other end of the spectrum. And my calendar revealed that because I had to make time for it. There was no other option but doing that. Even though I lost out on sleep, I lost out on a few workouts, I lost out on a few gains. It was the only thing that I could do to make sure that vision came to life because I was clear on what I wanted. So starting your online fitness coaching business isn't about having enough time. It's about deciding who you want to become, who God has called you to be, the desire that He's pulling on in your heart that you feel every day. And the moment you step into that, the moment the confidence comes, the moment you realize that, oh, this is actually possible for you, the more clear the path gets, the more momentum you get on the way. But it all starts with just making the decision on who you want to become and allowing your priorities to reflect that. And I'm not saying you have to do the same thing I did, or that the way I did it is perfect. And I know we're all dealt a different hand in life, but there is something in front of you that you are prioritizing ahead of starting your business, whether that's a friend, a relationship that isn't good for you, going out and drinking, going out and like watching shows after work because you're tired. These are all excuses, and I used to be that girl. I used to be the girl who binged Netflix, who did all these things that weren't good for me, go out and drink and party. And until I realized none of these things are serving me. And even though I'm tired, I have to make time for this because I'm clear on what I want. That is when my life changed. So I encourage you today that it's not about time. It's about clarity on who you want to become and letting your calendar and your actions reflect that. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I believe in you. I believe you can make time for this and make your dreams happen. I'll see you in the next video.